Schools and city buildings, public buildings have been closed. Bars and restaurants have been stopped from serving on premises and on site. Large gatherings have been canceled and banned. Citizens have been urged to stay home, to stay distanced, and to stay smart. But with yesterday's announcement that the coronavirus pandemic has officially reached the acceleration phase in the state of South Carolina, we must now take more dramatic action. While there's still time to save thousands of lives right here in Charleston by flattening the curve. We've all been talking about flattening the curve, and we must take every action possible in order to do so. St. Michael's chimes are ringing. That's why, in light of the large gatherings that we've continued to see in public spaces both here and around the country, I'm today ordering the temporary closure of all city parks and playgrounds. That's in addition to all of our city buildings as well. Now, I do want to explain that essential city services will continue. We've just smartly positioned ourselves, the city of Charleston, in providing those services without contact with our customers, our citizens. So all of our services are available online. We're still picking up garbage. We're still providing police and fire protection, but we're doing it with social distancing and without direct contact with citizens. That's why I, tonight, though, in addition, will introduce a citywide stay-at-home ordinance for emergency action by our city council. Now, put simply, this ordinance would require the closure of non-essential businesses and services here in the city of Charleston and direct our citizens to stay at home except for necessary trips to the grocery store, the pharmacy, and other essential services and activities. This action would last for a period of 14 days and would be taken under the city's broad emergency authority to protect public health and safety during times of emergency. But before we take this step, I believe we owe our citizens and business owners a clear explanation of the facts that make this emergency action necessary. First, there's the fact that our state public health agency, DHEC, has now officially told us that the coronavirus pandemic is in the acceleration phase in our state. This means that there is significant community spread and that we've entered the period of maximum danger for our citizens, with infection rates and deaths due to this disease set to rise exponentially. Second, there's the simple fact of population density. 3 of the 4 largest cities in our state sit side by side here in the Low Country, with a total population in the hundreds of thousands. We cannot and must amongst our residents. And finally, there are the numbers with regards to the disease itself. Modeling at both Columbia University and here locally shows that Charleston is facing thousands of deaths, most of them unnecessary, if we don't stop. This moment, with the pandemic still in its earliest part of the acceleration phase, is our last and best chance to keep tragedy from happening here in the city of Charleston. So fellow Charlestonians, yes, the days ahead may be long, They may call for a level of service to others that's uncommon. This is an unprecedented time, uncharted territory. But if a lifetime in Charleston has taught me anything, it's this. There is no challenge we cannot face together. There is no trial that will break our faith. There is no pathogen that can lessen our love for our families, our friends, and our fellow Charlestonians. We can and will bend the curve on this disease in our low country, in our community. And we will do it the way we do everything here in Charleston. We'll do it together. And I'd be happy to entertain any questions from anyone here.
Can we get some more details on that ordinance that you're putting in front of council tonight? How is this going to be enforced? What are kind of those next steps should it pass?
So the essential businesses and services are listed along with the ordinance. And they come from a template from the Department of Homeland Security. And frankly, it's a very broad list of businesses and services that will be able to remain open in Charleston. You'll see it's a very broad list. And folks who need these services and supplies will certainly be able to have access to them. So it's a self-enforcing ordinance with the addition of existing ordinances about gatherings of folks given both by the city of Charleston and by Governor McMaster just yesterday. You probably heard he set a limit of 3 or more folks gathering would not be allowed. Now, in the case of places like grocery stores and pharmacies, we'll be asking retailers to use distancing and keep lines with folks 6 feet apart, and to even limit the numbers of folks that are able to come into a store if it becomes excessive, so that we don't end up having large gatherings, even in those places where essential services and products are supplied.
How will the city council be meeting tonight? Is it going to be via phone or chambers?
It will. We've put out to the public a sign-in, call-in number, and also an email address where comments can be shared with our council for this evening's meeting. But it will be conducted on a Zoom platform and will be done online.
Will restaurants be able to stay open and do takeout delivery? Are restaurants going to be part of essential business?
They are. The ones that do takeout and pick-up delivery. Yes, sir. Just as they are now.
Sure. A follow-up question. If things tighten up more, my business is actually switched to doing prepared meals and grocery. Delivering things like flour, rice, toilet paper, dish detergent, as well as prepared meals and raw food as well. If things tightened up more, would I still be able to operate a business?
As long as they're essential and food-related products, yes, sir, you would be able to.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
If City Council approves, this would take effect at midnight tomorrow night and last for 2 weeks?
That's correct.
And can you comment about whether it's possible or probable that it would be extended beyond that period?
We'll just have to look at the numbers and rely on our healthcare professionals at that time.
If City Council rejects the proposal, are you looking to issue like an executive order on a stay-at-home like this?
I would look at an executive order in that event. Yes, ma'am.
Is this the last card you can play as mayor? I mean, are there any other steps that you could take if this continues to grow more serious?
I kind of view this as ratcheting this down as far as we can reasonably take it. Yes, we're still allowing essential businesses and services to occur. We're asking our citizens to stay at home except for those essential services and for exercise. And This is the time, y'all. This is the time if we're going to make a difference and flatten that curve and prevent deaths and serious spread of disease from happening in Charleston. You don't wait until we have thousands of cases. That's what's happened in some of the other parts of the country. Frankly, I think they waited a little too long. We're kind of at that last moment, the beginning of this acceleration phase. If we don't buckle down now and take every effort that we possibly can to flatten this curve, to prevent the spread of this disease, now is the time to do it. As I said the other day, this is as serious as a heart attack. This is a life and death situation for our citizens. And we control our destiny with the spread of this disease right now. So let's be safe, let's be smart, let's stay at home unless we absolutely need to. We can perform many essential services online, remotely, over the phone, but let's prevent the spread of this disease and save lives right here in Charleston.
Mr. Mayor, so I don't know if this is a question for you or maybe for Chief. You know, are there going to be any punishments for people who break that kind of gathering rule, who are at city parks, things like that? What's that in place right now for those who do break that ordinance?
Chief, do you want to address that? I think our style of enforcement is education and encouragement first, but I'll ask Chief Reynolds to address that.
Thank you, Mayor. I think you've made the argument very well, very compelling. We are asking for voluntary compliance. We're educating. There's awareness. This is a big part of this. Today's press conference, tonight's council meeting, the daily conversations that we have. The level of support, and as the mayor said, working together with our communities has been amazing. What we're seeing is a very high level of compliance. We're seeing what we want to see. As the weather improves and people come out, this is why this messaging is so important. We will be out talking to groups that are gathered in ways that they shouldn't be, that are not practicing good social distancing, but we hope to get voluntary compliance. If necessary, we will do enforcement. We have and we will. It's important for the safety of the city, but we believe that we can do this together because a lot of the same people that are out and they're active are the same people that are going to get this city in its recovery phase and make it great again and get the economy going and being our best partners. So we anticipate in 99% of the cases having compliance, voluntary compliance, and working with us. But that's why these laws are in place. That's why we're having this conversation. We have officers and a lot of other people out, and there's two things that I want to remind people of. If they're not in compliance, and we have to address those things, we're putting our officers and our firefighters in a position that maybe they're going to get exposed to something unnecessarily, one. And two, those resources are being distracted from protecting our city, fighting violence, keeping our stores safe and all of our people safe. So while our people are hunkered down at home, we're out in the communities, and we're going to be out, we're going to be vigilant, and we're going to keep our communities safe. But it's a partnership, and we need to work together to get through this.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's say that there's a group who doesn't want to comply with this. Would a citation at all be issued, anything to break up that group that's together?
So we have a lot of discretion, right? 365 days of the year, the police use discretion. That's why we hire the best. That's why we invest in training. And the best officers have a gift of gab, a sense of humor, great interpersonal communication skills, good problem-solving efforts. That's what this is all about. So if we encounter those types of situations, we're going to do our best to be diplomatic, to ask for compliance. In some cases that we've faced so far already, people have been out and they haven't really fully understood the ordinance, right? When the governor made his announcement last night, not everybody was watching TV. Not everybody has access to social media and to emails and to newspapers. So we need to give them a fair opportunity to disperse. We need to give them warning. We need to educate them. So in those circumstances, that's exactly what we've been doing. And in every case that I'm aware of, Not only have the people complied, it has not reoccurred or been an additional repeating problem.
Is there going to be discussion of potential curfews that maybe fall in line with this ordinance?
The question was about a potential curfew. Well, I guess that would remain as an additional tool in the toolbox if needed. We've talked about it. As long as voluntary compliance keeps up, it won't be necessary, but that is one final step that